Welcome to davidfouad.com. I'm your knowledgeable Winnipeg realtor. Today, unfortunately, I don't have a super positive story to share with you. It is a bittersweet story, and in order for me to maintain the privacy of my clients, I will share with you the encapsulating story. And I learn from mistakes, and I learn from mistakes of others. And I don't know about you, but that's sometimes the best way to learn. And so YouTube, my channel specifically, is a great place to gather information. I'm here to create content and provide you with real estate knowledge that you can take into your own life. And this story begins with a young family that I've been looking for a house for the last year. And they're fairly new to Canada, and they come from a country where houses just aren't there. They're not available to the average person. So they both grew up as kids in apartment-style buildings, and when they got married, they said, hey, let's buy a place now that we're in Canada to live in, and they, bought an apartment-style condo. And they were able to find a rare 3-bedroom style condo in a great part of the city. So I've had this condo up for sale for the last exactly 90 days. And why am I telling you this? Well, today is D-Day. The condo hasn't sold. It's exactly 90 days, 3 months, which is the minimum you can sell a property in Winnipeg. And here's an example of a listing contract. We get them blank, they're carbon copied. And the beginning of the listing, we specify the details of the seller and their property, and then we plug in the beginning and end date of the contract. Any lawyer will tell you that you have to have a beginning and end to a contract. In other words, a time frame. And the Manitoba Real Estate Association, along with the board, felt way back when that 90 days is a good minimum for a realtor to give it a shot to sell a property. Whether it be greater than 30 days on average to sell a property, that's the minimum, and they chose just the minimum. So I sold them a house finally. They were able to make a decision on a place, a great house with a great layout, fantastic yard, and they took possession of that house last week. The unfortunate part is because they haven't sold their condo with me, they didn't have the equity of the condo to reduce their mortgage to make it what they call a conventional mortgage. So they had to pay a very large, what they call CMHC mortgage insurance fee. And if you haven't read already, the fees have gone up, I believe it was 2014, significantly. And so the money they could have used to reduce their price, they've said, well, we're going to stick with our price, David. We're not going to reduce it. We don't care. And we're going to trudge through to the end, and a buyer will come through. Well, unfortunately, that buyer didn't come through. And during this period, several other condos came for sale in their building. And those other sellers are to this day still having difficulty selling. And not one of them is sold in the last 90 days. So what's the story here? What's the lesson? Well, the lesson is that you hire a realtor, someone like myself, to provide you with really good advice. And it's up to you as a seller or a buyer in another situation to take my advice. They clearly took my advice with this house, the one that they bought. They were apprehensive at first, but with a bit of discussing and researching, they were able to see that the house was a really good one. And I was able to buy the house with them for 25% under market value of 2014. So they saved a whopping 25% with my negotiation skills. So they learned, hey, David is a fantastic realtor. He was able to save us money on buying, but it's relative. When it's a great time to buy, it's not a great time necessarily to sell. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't sell. It just means it's relative. You buy low, you sell low. You buy high, you sell high. So that's the reality, and they didn't want to accept that reality and sell at a price that the market was dictating. And just like the other sellers, they didn't move on their price. Whenever you sell a property, you're either helping another property sell, or another property is going to help you sell. A house won't sell itself. A condo, no matter what the property, will not sell itself. That's an adage, that's a cliche that just doesn't exist. Yes, you need to prepare your home for optimum showing. Yes, you need to prepare your home to be desirable for someone to buy. But it boils down to price. And that's the hardest discussion people have to have with me. It's a choice whether you want to entertain the price that I research for you and present to you. It's ultimately your decision. I will never strong arm someone, but I will give you the pros and cons. And like any property I sell, I create an action plan. And in that action plan, along the timeline that we have, I set specific goals. In other words, actions to meet those goals. And if we're not meeting those goals, we have to adjust our actions. And anyone who knows me professionally and personally knows David is goal-oriented. I have a board right here that I look at every day with goals. I write them down personally, professionally, and I believe in that. Great men in history and in our current times have used goals and writing them down to achieve fantastic things. And unfortunately, these guys were not able to achieve a great sale on their condo. So what this has done is created many layers of stress for them. And ultimately, it's affected their health. Whether they want to admit it to me or not, having a huge financial burden will affect sleep, eating, relationship, recreation, and ultimately health. So do yourself a favor. Do your research. Soak up the information that I provide you on YouTube, that I will continue to provide you as the end user. Take my advice. I'm here to look out for you. I obviously was able to work with this guy for a year. And so if it was really about money, I would have jumped ship way earlier. But it wasn't just about money. It was about helping him. Hence the whole year it took for him to find a place. So yeah, he found a great place. Yes, he got a great price on the place. But he's paying for it now with this condo and now has to carry both properties and is considering renting it, and that's a whole other situation. So do your research. I hope you found this fantastic Fouad for Thought helpful. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my Facebook page, and continue to have a great experience visiting me on my channel, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks.